Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is June 18th of 2025. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland has ordered the United States Department of Justice to issue a multi-count indictment of Donald J. Trump for high crimes and misdemeanors related to Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein files, and or the Israeli Mossad sex trafficking ring, formerly run by Jeffrey Epstein. The impending indictment by the Department of Justice is going to result in a Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI-based raid targeting the White House on the morning of June 19th of 2026 as pretext for the arrest and incarceration, albeit short-term, of U.S. President Donald J. Trump on the date of June 19th, which is coincidentally Juneteenth. And that is not a mistake because this impending arrest of Donald J. Trump for Epstein files related crimes is specifically designed to spark a race war in the United States as pretext for a second American Civil War. All of the assassination attempts targeting Trump, all the bogus charges, all the different lawsuits, this is all designed to make Trump appear as the victim so that when he is finally taken out, they will, with the African American holiday of Juneteenth, they are going to stage celebrations across the United States. And then the Israeli National Police and Israeli Mossad are going to go out and stage attacks on those protests are celebrating African Americans and so-called woke left people. And that's all going to transpire on the date of June 19th in the aftermath of this fraudulent arrest of Donald J. Trump for crimes he did not commit. As I've stated in these videos ad nauseum, the Biden administration had 4 years to arrest Donald J. Trump for crimes related to Jeffrey Epstein, and they failed to do so because I don't believe there is any hard evidence. But we're never going to find out because Donald J. Trump will never see the inside of a courtroom because he will be neutralized in some form or fashion, likely after being tortured horrifically. The most likely being a self-inflicted suicide, a medical-related event, dying of so-called natural causes, being killed by law enforcement after allegedly attacking them, or being killed by someone he shares a cell with. So in short, on the date of June 19th, Friday, 2026, the CIA will stage a DOJ-issued multi-count indictment targeting Donald J. Trump for high crimes and misdemeanors related to the Epstein files and or the Epstein files cover-up, Jeffrey Epstein, and or the numerous persons that died surrounding this investigation. There's also a possibility that Donald J. Trump will be arrested for crimes allegedly committed against underage Jane Does and or violation of U.S. Code 18 U.S. Code 4, which is misprision of a felony, in that Donald J. Trump knew of sexual-related felonies being committed against underage women and failed to report them. So before I get into the other potential scenarios regarding this impending arrest, I'm just going to quickly highlight the numerology. This indictment is likely going to be based largely off the testimony of current U.S. Treasury Secretary Howard Lutnick, who appeared before the House Oversight Committee back on May 6th and February 10th of this year. And he is likely going to be the Judas, if you will. He will likely be cited multiple times in the impending indictment. He was a very close associate of Jeffrey Epstein and was even neighbors with him in New York. And he is a snake in the grass who was notified 24 hours prior to the September 11th attacks not to go into work. And that is why he picked up his daughter while his entire firm was murdered in the attack. And so this is the type of man that he is. So his betrayal of Trump is expected. As with all CIA assassination plots, terror attacks, and acts of war, they always have the numeric signature of the CIA, who authorized them, um, namely the date of June 19th, 2026 is the 170th day of the year. That is because the number 17 equates to letter Q as in coup d'etat, because this is an overthrow of the Trump administration using the Epstein files as just cause for an indictment and subsequent FBI raid. It also marks 228 days since the first trove of the Epstein files was released back on November 3rd of 2025. And of course, it says the 2-8 numerology, which was featured in the FBI-based raid targeting Donald J. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate back on August 8 of 2022. This was called reflective numerology. It also marks 505 days since Donald J. Trump became president of the United States for a second time back on January 20th of 2025. The number 515, because the number 5 is symbolically an S. This is SIS or ISIS. This is the secret name of CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland. It also marks 4,164 days since Gawker magazine published a report entitled "Here is Pedophile Billionaire Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book" back on January 24th of 2015, and this is what spawned what we now know as the Epstein files, or the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, which resulted in the disclosure of said Epstein files. And it marks the date of June 19th, marks exactly 4,164 days since this report from Gawker came out. This is key because this has the Swiss numerology, of course. You have the number 41, which is found in the motto of Switzerland. All for one, one for all. This contains both 14 and 41. It also has the number 16, which is indicative of the CIA star, which features 16 points. It also marks 29,225 days since Donald J. Trump was born in Queens, New York, back on June 14th of 1946. This number suggests that Trump will be likely tortured and killed, likely on the 229 numerology, which would put Donald J. Trump's death at June 23rd or 24th of 2026, because the CIA likes to kill on what are called like reflective numbers, reflective numerology. So he would be arrested on 29/225 and killed on 29/229. So you have 29, the number 2, which is symbolically a Z, which is an acronym for Zionism, and the other number 29. So you'd have basically 3 Zs, because the number 2 doubles as the letter Z, and then the number 9 as the letter I, and so you have Z, 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 symbolically, numerologically speaking. Okay, so in this impending indictment, they're likely going to cite witnesses that were previously interviewed by the FBI. They're likely going to present DNA evidence, such as the Clinton dress with the semen on it, that allegedly contains Donald J. Trump's semen, saliva, or blood samples. They're likely going to dump a bunch of videos and photos, as well as a unredacted version of the redacted version of the Epstein files, likely featuring deepfakes, audio recordings, and phone calls. They're likely going to release social media files, possibly from Trump's Twitter account, direct messages between Epstein and Lutnick and Trump, confirming that Trump was in fact engaged in these crimes. These are all going to be fabricated, mind you. They're also going to produce a laptop or a hard drive that contains photos, videos, audio files, phone calls, text messages that incriminates Trump. And they're likely going to have 1 or 2 or more of Trump incriminating himself. They're also going to have sworn affidavits, likely by the aforementioned Howard Lutnick, possibly previous Attorney General Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, former head of the DHS, and or others that claim that Trump confided in them, or that they firsthand witnessed crimes committed by Trump. There's also the possibility, as previously mentioned at the beginning of this video, that Donald J. Trump will be arrested for allegedly staging the suicide assassination of Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein's associate, Jean-Luc Brunel, who was suicided in a jail cell in France, and or former Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia Giuffre, who was suicided abroad in Australia. Lastly, there's also the possibility that Trump will be indicted for crimes related to the 2015 disappearance of alleged Epstein victim, quote unquote, Michelle of Germany. Crimes that took place on Epstein Island. Crimes that Trump was involved with regarding Jeffrey Epstein. This could involve real estate deals, stock trades, what have you. The aforementioned Israeli Mossad-run sex trafficking ring, so they could basically claim that Trump was a pimp who was basically poaching girls from the Miss USA pageant and other pageants in order to groom them to become sex workers. There's also a real possibility, which I've already written about this, so it's unlikely, but it's possible that they could arrest Trump for some sort of quid pro quo extortion racket designed to extract monies from persons named in the Epstein files in exchange for his failure or for him ordering the Department of Justice not to prosecute them for sex crimes. And then there's, of course, the Zorro Ranch, which is currently being, what shall we say, the FBI is currently in possession of the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, and so they can essentially claim that they found a body bag, videos, audio, anything. So this ongoing investigation into the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, it basically gives the CIA an out. So if they arrest him, and the public backlash is so much that they can't hold Trump, because they're likely going to kill him within the first week. You can write that down. But the Zorro Ranch, the ongoing excavation, shall we say, of the Zorro Ranch, where allegedly bodies are buried, it basically gives them a option that they can basically claim that they found Trump's hair, photos, videos, bodies, anything. This is an endless. They can basically make up whatever they want out of that. So, anyways, just to recap, Donald J. Trump is going to be arrested on the morning of June 19th of 2026 for crimes he did not commit. This is being orchestrated by the CIA in Switzerland, and then they're going to have their double agents in the U.S. government, likely dual Israeli-U.S. citizens that are going to be orchestrating this from behind the scenes at the Department of Justice and the FBI, that are going to basically legally kidnap a sitting U.S. president, and then once he is taken into custody, Trump will likely be tortured. This is all payback for Trump going against the Zionist establishment, and this is also a big payback from the Israeli Mossad for Trump signing this deal with Iran. So that is why they are expediting this at this point in time, because they are out for revenge. They're literally foaming at the mouth. And so Trump will likely be taken into custody, and then I believe within 1 week he will be terminated in some form or fashion, as previously mentioned, most likely under the guise of suicide, but there's other possibilities, obviously. And so obviously if this happens, this will be designed to spark a race war in America as pretext for a second American Civil War. And being that it is Juneteenth, this date will go down in history as the day Trump was arrested, and then they're going to have literally tens of thousands, if not millions, of African Americans in the street partying, and then they're going to send out their basically the Israeli goon squad, and they're going to drive over them, they're going to lynch them, they're going to shoot them, they're going to burn them alive, they're going to do horrific things in the aftermath of this, and it's all going to be staged. in this next 24-hour window surrounding the Juneteenth holiday. So obviously, if this happens, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.